Hello and welcome to Couple of Instigators. I have my trusty Lauren, and today my guest is Theresa Moriarty, and I call her Timo.
Hi, thanks for having me, Cindy.
Yes, everybody calls her, well, Timo. That's like, she's like the J-Lo of the city, of Utica.
Yeah.
I'm just Timo from Utica.
That's so funny.
So yes, Theresa's a stand-up, model, voiceover. Like, what the fuck do you not do?
All the things. Jack of all trades, entertainment.
What do you not do right now? Work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The only thing I don't do is get a job, but I audition for a lot of them.
Yeah. Only thing Theresa's not doing right now is getting booked.
Yeah. You said it.
Oh my God. So, Theresa, your stand-up is fucking hysterical.
Thank you.
You know, a mutual friend of ours kind of hit me up and she needed somebody to do comedy in the Upper West Side. It's more like an upscale restaurant. And of course, the first person she thought of was you.
Yeah.
She saw you do you. And I'm like, oh, that's so Theresa.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I told her, she's great. She's really great. But yeah, I wasn't available for that show, unfortunately, but we're going to do something in the future for sure.
But I was just laughing because the first person was like, Theresa, perfect for an upscale restaurant. But she did say she had a few people on and it didn't go well because she didn't really check their material, and they got up and they were talking about like sucking dicks, and she's like, it just wasn't the client.
Right. I actually, it's funny you say that because I had sent her a couple names after I wasn't able to do it, and she was like, oh, I just haven't seen their sets, and I was like, no, that's totally understandable, but also I was like, that something must have happened, because usually it's like, whatever, we just need a name, throw somebody in there.
Yeah.
So I was like, something definitely happened for her to be like, no, I haven't seen their material, I really need to like vet it.
I know it. That's what she said to me too. And I was like, well, whoever Theresa sends you, you can trust her. You're saying, totally. Like if you need them for an upscale restaurant, they're good, or no, never mind that name, or just tell them, read the room, and this is how I need you to do your material. Are you cool with that?
Well, that's ideally what most should do, but some people I think get a little too stuck to their own material. Like, hey, the gig's the gig. If it's a baby shower, like you can't come in swinging with like school shooter jokes. Like, no, you just can't.
Thank you, and I'm telling you, this is where I've been struggling lately. I'm like, Cindy, read the room.
Yeah. I had a teacher once that was like, never change your set. Always stick to who you are, stick to your jokes. And I was like, I don't know. The entertainer, the actor in me is like, nah, that's not it. You got to vibe with the audience. You have to be able to have that conversation. If they're not picking up what you're putting down, like you're just going to bomb. And it's fine. We bomb all day long, but like,
we bomb with our people sometimes. It is what it is.
Exactly. But if there's got to be some responsibility and some nuance to what you're putting out there. At the end of the day, we're circus monkeys. Like, come watch us clang our cymbals. Like, so it's like, you got to put on the show a little bit. Yeah. It's not all about your material all the time,
Yeah. But I mean, that's, your material. That's what I do love about you, is like, you can hit any room.
Yeah, I try to stay very observational in general.
Right.
And
but it's very like, you don't get into trouble, where I could go down.
Yeah, you get into trouble much easier than I get into trouble. You're braver than I am.
Yeah, but
I'm less brave.
Yeah. No, you're set, I mean, yeah, it's and I'm telling you. So Theresa, you're pregnant and you're due February.
Yes, I'm due February 1, first baby. So we're
first one.
Growing a child, 8 months. Oh my God, crazy.
And she texted me the other day and she's like, my stomach is huge. I'm like, I'm
just getting rounder by the day. I just get rounder,
and I just get forward. Is a tall man.
Yeah, my husband's giant, so the kid's gonna walk out of me. 12-month-old is just gonna come strolling out, hopefully out of my vagina, but it's going to come strolling out, and it's going to be like, sup, can I get some cereal? Like, there's not going to be, I don't think, a baby section. I don't think there's going to be a baby portion of the life. I think it's just going to be a toddler from the start.
Her doctor had mentioned something to you like a couple months ago. He didn't think like you were like, the baby was like, you would know, but your baby was fine.
The baby was fine, but I wasn't gaining any weight because I was super sick at the beginning. So I actually got really sick early in my pregnancy from like day 1 through like week 27. Like I was vomiting. I couldn't like keep any extra weight on. So I had a little bit of extra weight on from like the actual baby and whatever, but like I wasn't gaining how they wanted me to gain. And I was like, trust me, like we'll all.
And let's not get this wrong. Theresa is not like too skinny by any means. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
your body is perfectly normal. You are
right.
Not,
yeah. I'm not like a stick thin, like, you know.
Like the baby ain't starving. Teresa's
like
body is perfectly fine. So I was like, that doctor's crazy. You look amazing. Like you were not, you know?
I was like, it's fine. I mean, I think they just find these averages. It's like, it's the same thing they do when the kid comes and then they're like, oh, the kid is in this percentile. And it's like, everybody's different. Who knows? Like you could say I'm supposed to gain X amount of weight during this pregnancy. It's who's to say? Some people gain less, more, like whatever. But now we're on track, supposedly. So we're good.
Yeah. Well, I knew you were going to pop at the end.
I always think that's so weird when they're like, oh, my child's in the 90th percentile. And I'm like, okay, like your child has a giant head. Like that you're proud of it.
Exactly. Like, cool. Right.
Who says
oh
that?
my
That's
God, please.
Like, okay.
Just, it makes no sense. And we do it to all people. It makes no sense. Like my husband's 6'6", and even when he goes for his physical, like he's not overweight by any means, and he'll go for his physical and just the height and the weight, like it doesn't always line up on the charts. The doctor's always like, oh, well, you could weigh less or you could weigh more or you could. And I'm like, look at this. This man is not in proportion with like the average. Like, let's just leave it alone. If he's healthy, if his heart's healthy, like eat a salad every so often, we're fine.
How tall are you, Theresa?
I'm only 5'7". Don't I look taller?
You do.
Tell me I look taller.
Weird because you do.
Everybody always thinks I'm taller. Yep.
I think also
I let people think it.
But you also have like your shoulders. I don't know. You present as taller. Like you're built. You know what I mean? It's weird. I don't know, but
I'm only 5'7". Like I'm actually like short.
But you got like good arm, like I don't know, long this arms. Way. You're very, I don't
long wingspan.
Yeah, I don't know, but yes, you know, and you're probably always in heels when I see you in photos next to him too, which probably I didn't know he was that tall. Holy shit.
I know. It's crazy too, because you've seen him in person a bunch of times. I remember the first time I saw him in person being like, like people aren't usually that tall. Like I remember it being like shocking. And now I'm like, I don't even think he's that tall. And then I see him next to somebody and I'm like, oh, you're so tall, so much taller. Or I'll think people are short a lot of the time. Like we have friends that are like 6 foot or 6'2", and I'll be like, oh, so-and-so is not that tall. And my husband will be like, he's like 6'2", that's tall. I'm like, that's tall? Like my like whole perception is totally off because I just have this giant man in my house all day long.
And he's like so handsome, Lauren. He is so your type. Holy shit.
Oh, I think I saw him. I saw him on Instagram.
Lauren, Lauren has the type, and that, that's kind of, like
my type is J. Crew model, like dad. J. Crew dad model.
Party. Let's just, finance.
Definitely.
Sweater vest.
Exactly. Some pastels every so often, a little bit of some festive clothes. Yeah, definitely.
He's like a really tall Ken doll.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's big into clothes and shoes, and so it's a lot like living with a Barbie.
So Theresa, all right, you're an actor by nature.
Yeah, that's my training and my expertise, if you will, is in acting for sure.
How old were you when you started?
I started when I was really little. I did my first jobs when I was like 8. So when I was really small, my mom, I barely remember. It was like when those like model searches used to come to like the local hotel.
To the mall. Yeah.
And like, this was like the 90s. Like my mom was like, a free event. Let's get the kids out of the house. Like, this is the shit we did. Like we grew up.
That was huge back then.
Oh yeah. And
I remember they would come to the mall here, and all my friends that wanted to be models, they would all want to go to the models,
Yeah. And I remember my mom brought me and my sister, and neither of us were particularly, I don't remember we're going to get a job. Like it was very much like, oh, we get to wear blush. let's do it. We're going. And like, I think we like put our Christmas dresses on and like went to the Holiday Inn. Like that, it was very much like an activity. Like it was not about like my kid's gonna be famous. Like my parents love me and they support me, but they definitely weren't like, whoa, we've got something special here. Let's definitely push it along.
Let's say you come from a very Italian American family.
Very Italian American, restaurant owners, like insane people.
And they're not always the kind that are like, I want my child to be famous. Like
it was so not about that at all.
Right.
It was like, I think my mom was like, we're going to get a nice picture.
Yeah.
Like it was like, who cares? No one thought, there was no like, I don't know. Nobody got out of Utica except Annette Funicello. But fun fact, if you want to jot that one down. But yeah, so I remember we went to, it was like called like Manhattan Model Search, some BS. And we went and it was so fun. And they make you like walk and twirl and like whatever. And then I ended up making it to the finals. And I remember the finals were in Buffalo. And there was like a fee and we didn't have any money. So we were like, well, we're not going to go to Buffalo. And then my mom at the time my mom's an entrepreneur. They have a restaurant now, but she had a cleaning business at the time. And one of her clients was like, no, she's beautiful. You got to go to Buffalo. I'll pay for it. And my mom was like, no. So I think my mom scraped the money together somehow, or he gave her some of it or some nonsense, because we went to Buffalo. And I remember my dad took work off. It was a big deal. And we went to Buffalo. And I remember I had a straight bobbed hair to my chin, black hair with straight across bangs, and a black ballerina bodysuit and high-waisted acid wash Levi's. And they were like, just walk across the stage and smile big. And it was this huge stage. There was hundreds of people. And I got on the stage, basically sprinted across it, jumped in my dad's arms, crying hysterically, and was like, I'm so embarrassed. I hate this. I never want to do this again. And then my mom was like, okay, do you want to do the next round? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Like I was fine like 2 seconds later. And then I swear, like I've been like performing and I haven't shut my mouth since. Like it was like all of a sudden there was like 500 people looking at me in my Levi's. And I was like, oh, hold on. Let me try that one more time. And then I just, absolutely like shaking my hips, walking across the stage, ridiculous, like just for like an 8-year-old. And then a bunch of agencies there like wanted to sign me, and it was this whole thing. And we ended up signing with this agency. Long story short, the agency was a total fraud. I did like $16,000 of work that we never saw. Like it was this because we didn't know what we were doing. Like, so I did all these jobs. I did Toys R Us, Kids R Us, the Vogue pattern books, the Butterick pattern books.
That picture you posted of you in the 90s.
I did all the catalogs. I did all this work. So all the work was legit. We just never saw any of the money because this woman was a fraud. So come find out, I ended up meeting this television manager through this woman. So that was the one thing good that came out of it, is I met this television manager. And then she ended up sending me more legit auditions. They tried to like defraud this woman. The lawsuit was too expensive. So we were like, forget it, whatever. We really had no idea what we were doing, walking around New York City. So my mom would drive me from Utica to New York City if I had an audition. So I would like miss school and drive into the city for the day, do the audition, leave the city. I thought I was the coolest person in the world. I was like 9 and I was like, I'm going to get an OJ and jump on the Amtrak. Like I was like living. My sister was home. I was like, I am special. So then I just always did commercials and print and all this, like, but it was always fun. My mom never like stage mommed me. She was always kind of like, oh, Campbell's Soup called. We have to go on Friday. Does that sound fun? And I'd be like, yeah, fuck it. Let's go eat some soup. Like, it was always like, I thought it was really, really fun. And then took some acting classes here and there, but like we never thought of it as like a career. It was always like, and then it was really not until after college that I went and then I studied acting, and actually, because in college I had an agent, I was auditioning, I was doing things. So I